we had Jack Della Maddalena take on Carlos Prates. This was a striking bout. The guys really laid their heart on the line on this one. Former welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena took a vicious TKO in the later rounds of this fight. First round, Jack Della was being successful moving forward, but he started to take a lot of damage. Carlos Prates was really opening up with the calf kicks, the knees, and the strikes, the long strikes, the straights, the right straight, left straight. And we move on to the second round. Jack Della started to get tired. The leg kicks really started to set in. His ability to move his feet was hindered from the plethora of the chopping of the legs. He wasn't able to move around and get Carlos to the ground, and then it was just, you seen Carlos Prates start to open up. We move on to the third round, and this is when Carlos Prates really started to have his way with Jack. He just started to beat him up, and he was looking for that highlight finish and ended up finishing him just like Chama did to Magomed Al-Khalili. Just the 12-6, vicious ground and pound. It was just a thing of beauty. So Carlos Prates is going to be moving up on to that #1 contender spot, and everybody knows that probably Ian Garry is going to be fighting Islam Makhachev for that welterweight title shot. So whoever wins that fight will probably be next in line for Carlos Prates to line up against. We move on down to the co-main event. We had Quillan Salkilld take on Beneil Dariush. My guys, Beneil just needs to go ahead and just hang it up, because I just don't think that he's going to be able to contend with the talent that's hanging on right now. He got sparked out in the first round again. Quillan was able to withstand the early grappling from Beneil Dariush. Quillan did take a jab that kind of stumbled him. I don't know if he was off balance or what, but he kind of got stumbled, got hit with the jab. Beneil was able to take him up against the fence. Quillan was able to regain himself, and when he was able to break free from the grappling, caught him with a nice little combo, was able to start issuing a little bit of chaos, and then Beneil Dariush ultimately exposed his chin, and Quillan Salkilld gets his hand raised. So another awesome showing for this guy. He's going to be a huge prospect for the Australians, and he is probably a contender for a future champion spot in the near future if he can keep lining up and knocking them down. We move on down the list. We had Steve Astro Boy Erceg, another Aussie, taking on Tim Elliott. This was another fight that was a really just kind of hanging in the wind fight that was back and forth in the first few rounds. Tim Elliott was successful early on until Steve Erceg got his timing down. They had a few wrestling scrums, and it seemed like Elliott couldn't really hold Erceg down. So it was kind of like once their wrestling neutralized each other out, you had Astro Boy start to step ahead once he was finding the timing of kind of Tim Elliott coming in weird with his hands down. He started to line up the shots and ultimately puts Tim Elliott away by decision just via the amount of damage that he put on him with his technical smooth striking. So the Aussie gets his hand raised. Move on down the list. We had Shamil Gaziev take on Brando Perisic. Guys, this was another slugfest right here. Shamil Gaziev was just coming forward, eating shots, and eventually that big old tree got dropped by Brando Perisic. He hit him with like an overhand right and then followed up with a uppercut, and he just put Shamil down. And it seemed like Shamil was like the Hulk or something. He just kept coming through, walking through damage, but you could see the speed advantage was apparent. Brando Perisic had the speed advantage, and it was obvious from the get-go. We move on down the line. We had another fight with Marwan Rahimi. He was facing a new guy on his first bout. And Marwan gets it done in early fashion. His striking, you can tell, is just really crisp. It's next level above everybody that he's facing right now. So it's time to get him a real top 10 opponent as he moves up on into this list of guys that's going to be challenging in the division. We move on down to the last fight of the night on the main event. We had Tuivasa taking on Sutherland. And guys, this was another little bit of a bad showing for Tuivasa. Tuivasa was struggling to get it going. He was getting taken down a lot, and the calf kick was starting to get to him. So Tuivasa had a little bit of heart. He was able to get a little bit going on the feet, but ultimately he gets taken down, controlled on the ground, and Sutherland gets another win. So, and that is UFC Perth, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.